What's going on, everyone? So, Jarred Vanderbilt's back, and he looked incredible, right? Like, for the first game, given all the context and circumstances centered around Jarred Vanderbilt's return and him, missing a full calendar year of playing time, having foot surgery at both his feet, to come back and put on the just effort and display that we saw. And the beauty of it is that it's why you know he's going to be good. Look, he's still probably going to have his bad games. He's clearly a step behind. There was a couple sequences in that Warriors game where he just got beat or, wasn't able to catch. Like, there was one where Vando wasn't guarding him, but somebody else was, and he came to help. And Pod just got a lane to the basket and was able to lay it up. Any other time, Jarred Vanderbilt cleans that up. That would have been free eats, right? But again, little step late, little step behind. It's fine. He'll get there. Still just want people to remain patient with Jarred Vanderbilt. But as the season progresses, we're going to see him come back. Lakers really want to focus on defensive excellence is what was reported, right? That the Lakers want to be one of the best defensive teams in the league, which makes some sense, right? If you're going to lean heavily into Austin Reeves, LeBron James, and Anthony Davis as like your main three offensive weapons, right? You want the defense to complement those guys as well as hopefully guys that can knock down shots, right? Like Max Christie's done a really good job hitting shots. Gabe Vincent has really came around this last 10 games or so. Dorian Finney-Smith, we've seen, has been able to hit shots, right? Jarred Vanderbilt's not going to give you much, but whatever he trickles in here and there is fine. Dalton Connect has really started to come around these last 10 games or so. You're really starting to see this team put some things together, but they still need a trade, right? Trade still absolutely needs to happen. However, Jarred Vanderbilt, and I've talked about this before, Jarred Vanderbilt has the potential to have a very big and significant impact for the Lakers. Now, does Jarred Vanderbilt by himself mean that the Lakers are a contender? No. Right? He's going to make them much better, don't get me wrong, because again, the impact, the hustle, and all the dirty work that he plays, the guy goes 100 miles an hour all the time, right? The reason you got to put him on minute restriction is to save him from himself, right? Like, he's a guy that he doesn't know what, I'll just go 80% is. He's just boom, 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 right? And that's the beauty. That's why we love Jarred Vanderbilt so much. But Jarred Vanderbilt gives you that perimeter defensive piece. I would still love, like a Bruce Brown, something like that. But realistically, Lakers are probably going to pivot and focus on the center spot, right? Miles Turner in a perfect scenario would be ideal, right? Because then you get both. You get offense and defense at the center spot, right? You look at a lot of these other guys, it's usually one or the other. It's either you get the defense or you get the offense, right? In the case of like a Nikola Vucevic, right? Anthony Davis wants a center. He wants to play more four, right? I'm still not against trading Gabe Vincent. I think it depends on what you get, right? Like, I would still ideally love a perimeter player and a center, right? Can you pull something like that off, right? If you get Miles Turner, can you get like a Dort or something, right? Like, is there a piece or two that you can get, right? Like a minor piece. Do they have like a vet minimum guy that come in and just be that piece, right? Look at a team like Chicago. They have several guys like a Torrey Craig. Can you get an Io for a first? But you don't get the defense, right? And if the Lakers really want to build this defensive identity and be this like incredible defensive team and unit and one of the best defensive teams in the league, then do they really lean towards Nikola Vucevic? However, I do think, and I have kind of came around to that more and more, if Jarred Vanderbilt can get back to being the guy that we know and love, you can now get away with Nikola Vucevic far more than you could otherwise. It's another reason why I've talked about we need like a Bruce Brown or something like that, right? Because you need that point of attack defense plus like a Dorian Finney-Smith and all that. Well, if you can have a guy like, again, a Jarred Vanderbilt, and if he can get back to being peak Jarred Vanderbilt, well, then now you can have units out there to mask the defense or lack thereof of a Nikola Vucevic. I still would prefer, a Miles Turner or something like that. The Lakers still need a center. And I still think ideally if you could get another perimeter piece, even if it's just like smaller piece, like a Josh Green or something like that, somebody that's like $12 million. I've talked about like Cody Martin or Caleb Martin. Supposedly the Sixers are willing to maybe have some sales. Kelly Oubre, something like that. Like, I think there's an argument to turn Rui into like 2 or 3 pieces. Right? Could you get like a Kelly Oubre and like an Andre Drummond? Now, that wouldn't really be your starting caliber guy, but maybe you could talk to Anthony Davis, like, hey, we'll play you more at the 4. We just need you to start at the 4. And look, we got this depth, we got these pieces, right? Like, that's a possibility, that's an option. But chances are Lakers are probably going to try to get like a bigger splash guy. I really think, again, if Miles Turner becomes available, that'll be the guy, right? In a perfect world, if you could get a Walker Kessler, then you would still have Rui and those things to go get like a Bruce Brown or something. Like my favorite scenario might be a Walker Kessler and like a Bruce Brown, just because you get that, defensive, versatile piece, as well as another point of attack, athletic defensive guy, right? And you could still keep Gabe Vincent and these other guys, right? And now you have 5, 6, 7 guys that can defend out on the perimeter, switch, do multiple things, play multiple positions, right? Like you want to talk about being one of the best, if not the best defensive teams. You do something like that, you're one of, if not the best, most likely the best defensive team in the league, and you don't really miss a beat, right? Like, you still have all your key pieces, you still have all your key players. Fortunately, Rui Hachimura, he's just the odd man out. He is. As much as we love Rui Hachimura, he's a fan favorite, he's just the odd man out, right? Like, now that Jarred Vanderbilt's back, and if he can continue to stay healthy and play the way that we've seen him play, he just makes more sense in those limited spurts, because Dorian Finney-Smith should be your starter. Dorian Finney-Smith should be the guy that you're having at the 3 to start. So that means you're looking for Rui to kind of play backup minutes, which he's probably only going to play, say 20 minutes a game. A fully healthy Jarred Vanderbilt might be more valuable for what he does, the rebounding, the hustle, the turnovers, the dirty work. I mean, Jarred Vanderbilt in 12 minutes has done more than what Rui does in like 30 minutes on some nights. Rui had a 3-game stretch where he got 3 rebounds and had I think it was 15 points total or something, 18 points total, right? Jarred Vanderbilt in 12 minutes got you 4 rebounds, including 2 of which were offensive rebounds. He almost got as many offensive rebounds as Rui got in that entire stretch. Now look, in Rui's defense, he's done a much better job rebounding the basketball this season, but ultimately, you're going to have to turn it. If you want a center, you're going to have to turn him into a center, right? Whoever that is, Miles Turner, Nikola Vucevic. Again, I wouldn't mind getting one of these smaller centers. And it also depends on what Anthony Davis is willing to do, right? If Davis is hey, I'm fine with a better backup center as long as I can play more 4, right? If you want to go get a Day'Ron Sharpe, that's fine, but I want to play more 4, right? Because Anthony Davis has said, I don't mind playing the 5. I just don't want to do it full time. I don't want to do it 40 minutes a game. If you want me to play at 15, fine, I'll do that, but I want to play a majority at the 4, right? So if the Lakers can do something like that, because again, Anthony Davis played the 5 plenty in 2020. I mean, he was closing in the playoffs at the 5, right? So again, he's not against it. He just wants to be able to take some of that pressure off. So if he's willing to kind of take on and go, hey, yeah, if you can get a Kessler, you can get a Day'Ron, or even a Valanciunas is fine, as long as I can play alongside him at times, so I'm not having to play the center all the time, then that could open it, because you could go do a Gabe Vincent and go turn him into, a Jonas Valanciunas, bring him in, and that also bolsters your offense. But then you can also still go take Rui and everything else and go get a Bruce Brown or something like that, right? I still don't hate the idea of Bruce Brown and a Jonas Valanciunas. But to me, I think it really boils down to what does Anthony Davis want. Jarred Vanderbilt helps alleviate some of the pressure that you have, right? Because before Vando, it was we really need a point of attack guy. We really need an athletic guard, point of attack guard, something like that, which is why Bruce Brown, Alonzo Ball, somebody like that. We need somebody that can just get after it and work hard in that regard. But Jarred Vanderbilt, we know he's capable of being that. We know he can be that for the Lakers. So Jarred Vanderbilt slotting in and playing that role and taking on that role, I think could kind of shift things, right? I still would like one. I'd still like a guard, like a Bruce Brown or Alonzo or something. But the pressure for that isn't as high as it once was, right? Because also if Jarred Vanderbilt came back and he looked terrible, right? It's ooh, you gotta wait, right? So do we want to take the gamble that he's going to be healthy and that he's going to be fine and that he's going to look like his old self, because he might never get back to being his old self. Plenty of guys have had foot surgeries and foot injuries and have never been able to get back to the players that they once were. So if Vando came back in that first game and was terrible, was just trash, then it's kind of like, oh, okay, like he's going to take some time for sure. Are we in a position to not go get that defensive guy or take the gamble that Vando can become that by playoffs, right? Well, now that you've seen, oh, okay, he just needs to get his win under him. He's fine. He looks like he didn't miss a beat. He just needs to get his motor, right? You just need to just give him time to let his his health bar charge up, right? And then he's ready to go out there and respawn, right? Like that is what we're looking for here. So now that takes the pressure off. Now that we've seen with our eyes and have been able to note it, like, okay, Vando is there. He just needs to, get that extra win, right? Now I think you can, if you wanted to, if you can within the thick of it, go get another 3-and-D guy, especially if you're trading Rui. It'd be nice, right? Just to have that, again, even if it's like a Cody Martin or something like that, or a Torrey Craig, if you go the Nikola Vucevic route, bring in a Torrey Craig, like something like that. I think you're in good shape there. But even if not, I think you can now justify more going and getting a center. So I think the center spot, because of what Anthony Davis said, obviously, but also because of how Jarred Vanderbilt has looked, center I think makes more sense now. Where prior, I was like, the perimeter is the priority, right? Which it still is, in my opinion. Perimeter is the priority. But you might have already solved that with Jarred Vanderbilt, right? So now, or you might just need a little minor piece, right? Like I said, a Torrey Craig or somebody that could slot in 2 through, 4 on some nights, right? Things like that. But anyway, as always, this is a discussion, and I pass the question on you. Let me know your thoughts and opinions down in the comments below. What do you think? How you feel with your thoughts? Do you agree with me? Disagree with me? Mixed in the middle? However you feel, I'd love to hear it. So let me know down in the comments. That being said, if you haven't liked this video, hit that like button. Helps me a lot. So we enjoy these types of videos, and I truly appreciate it. Not subscribe channel, hit that subscribe button. Turn on the bell notifications. Appreciate y'all. See you in the next one. Thank you.